I'm Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. On today's video, I've got the new firmware 28.07 loaded up for the Axe FX3, and I want to go through the two new drive pedals that have been added in here. The Angry Chuck, based on a JHS Angry Charlie pedal, a great high gain overdrive with a 3-band EQ, and the Guardian Photon Speed, based on the very popular Greer Lightspeed organic overdrive. We'll start out though with a clean amp tone, and I'm using the Texas Star Clean based on the Boogie Lone Star. I've paired that up with one of my favorite Dynacabs in here, the 4x12 Rumble. I've got a ribbon and dynamic blend on there, fairly standard low and high cut. I do have a touch of the Aurora delay for the Andy Timmons halo effect, and my favorite reverb, the gold plate reverb. Let's hear the bridge and middle pickup on this Strat to start. Touch of neck pickup and a touch of bridge pickup on there as well, but I'll roll with that middle and bridge combination on here for now. Let's kick in this Guardian Photon Speed at the stock settings. Basically, the way I describe this drive model, it gives you more of what you already like about your guitar and amp tone. I do have a short video with this one and one of the AC30 models over on my channel. If you want to go and check that one out, I'll link it in the video description. But let's just have a listen to what it does at the stock settings, and I will dial it in for what I like. Basically just pushing this cleaner amp into a little bit more of a smooth overdrive. This one really retains your playing dynamics and articulation, which I really like as well. A lot of drive pedals will basically impart their own tonality on your tone, which if that's what you're going for, can be fantastic. You can use them to totally transform the sound of your amp. But I like that this Greer Lightspeed model basically just enhances what is already there. And it's got that all-important clarity and that dynamic range in there, which really makes it different to something like, say, a classic tube screamer. It's just a different tool in the kit. But this would be a great always on drive pedal for that reason. You know, you could just set all the controls to 6 on there, use it to enhance the core tone of your guitar, and use it to kind of open up the sound of a bunch of different amp models in there. And as we all know, having an amp with a gain control, it's going to behave differently if you just turn the gain up or if you turn the gain down and then push it with a drive pedal. A great example would be, say, like a classic Marshall tone. I'll bring up something from my blocks library in here. Let's bring up this JCM 800 2203. There's no boost in there at the moment, but if I keep the gain up high and I leave this drive off, what's going to happen is the effect of the bright cap on the amp is going to be reduced the higher this gain control goes. So let's hear it. Now, if I turn the gain down, I'm obviously going to get less distortion, but everything is going to get a lot brighter as well. why we spend so much time playing around with these combination of lower gain boosts or drives and amplifiers. You could hear with the gain below noon on there and the Greer model on that it was really dynamic. It was really clear with the boost off and the amp gain all the way up. On the neck pickup anyway, it was a little bit tubby and hard to get that clarity in there that I like. So this is why using drive models in conjunction with crunchy or breaking up amps is such a powerful combination. And the great thing is we get this update for free. You don't have to go and spend a few $100s to get the real pedal and run it with your Axe effects. It's just an extra value add. You update and you get that new drive pedal in there. The other new drive pedal is the Angry Chuck. So let's go back to this Texas Star Clean. We'll go to channel B over here. Now this one has more of an amp-like control set on here. So I'm going to keep the drive low. We'll keep it around, say, 1 or 2. I'm going to leave the EQ where it is. Now this EQ is going to be really powerful depending on the guitar and the amp that you're using. Because I've got a slightly darker and fatter sounding amp and cab tone on here, I'll probably be able to use a lot more of the range of the treble control. If you were using a brighter amp and cab, don't be afraid to turn the treble control down on there. Even with the drive below 2, this has plenty of crunch. So let's go to the bridge humbucker this time and have a listen to what that does. Cool for those liquid leads if you're starting with a cleaner amp model on there. Let's go back to that crunchy Marshall. I've got the gain just above noon on here. We'll hear the sound with the drive pedal bypass, but in this case, I've taken all the bass out. I've got the treble below noon. I've cranked up the mids. This works nice as like a thickening agent on top of your rhythm guitar tone. It's almost got a very slight amount of a fuzz tone quality on there when you get the drive up higher. Let's hear that now. That one's actually really cool. Mids all the way up, bass and treble all the way down. Harmonics really pop out of the guitar, but you've still got that very smooth lead sound on there. I like that. My test of a drive pedal is always running it into a crunchy Marshall, whether it's in the Axe effects or in the real world. So that Angry Chuck definitely passes that test. You can hear that while the real pedal is marketed as a JCM 800 in a box, it doesn't really sound anything like a JCM 800 model in there. It's a lot smoother. The distortion character is totally different as well. But if you just ignore that and treat this as a cool thing that can add some spice to an existing crunchy tone, or that can transform a clean amp into something that can do high gain leads, that's fantastic. But I think the Guardian Photon Speed, that Greer Lightspeed model, is going to be one of my go-tos in the Axe effects, just because of the way it like enhances what's already there. I love that about a good boost or a good drive pedal. If you've got your amp and cab and guitar dialed in and you don't want to change that fundamental tone, this one works great, and it's so dynamic and touch sensitive. I can see why people rate the Real pedal so highly. For now though, I'm going to pull up stumps. I want to hear from all of you. How do you like these new drive models in here? How are you using them? Hopefully this video gave you a couple of ideas in there. And what other drive model should I take a look at? What are some of your favorite combos between guitars, drives, and amps? It's such a great way to chase unique tones, and this is part of the fun, right? It doesn't cost us anything in the Axe effects. We just bring up a different model and we've got a whole new world of tone and fun to explore in there. I'll see you all on next week's Tuesday Tone Tip. Go and play your guitars and have some fun.